this is kind of the plan, all right? We're just gonna hang out with y'all. We can open up the phones if you want to call in. You can type questions into the chat here. Ray, is your mic on? Give me a sound check real quick. I do not hear you, Ray.
Yeah, I don't hear it either.
I don't see the lights on your mic either, but we'll get that figured out. So we can yeah. Gerald's. You can ask questions in the chat. We'll throw up the phone line here in a minute. You can call in if you want. If you're averse to either of those, you can email us at mail@thegrassfactor.tv. And it'll all sort itself out. We'll do our best. If we don't get to it, and then ask again, because we're human, we're fallible, we make mistakes. That's what it used to say on the old live shows. So anyway, we're gonna make it just a little personal, little hangout. We're just gonna hang out. How about them apples?
Yeah, I think that's all the mailbags I got there.
And we do got a lot of mailbags. So the first one we have solved, right? The first one is purple sedge. JP, can you throw up a picture of that on the screen so they can see what we're looking at?
Give me 1 second here.
I got you, Gerald's here. Grass.tv. I'm gonna fuck around. I'm gonna do this.
So here's a couple of the different pictures. Like this one.
Let me see here. Or I'm on another screen. Yes. So we got an email asking what this is. Grass Thief said, looking for some plant ID. And what I can see here just from years of doing this is the triangular stem, because it's got that edge on it that just starts to look like a sharp edge, and that's what tells me that stem is triangular. And then you got that strong midrib there. That is purple nutsedge. That's exactly what we're looking at there. That is purple nutsedge. So as far as control options for anybody, JP, do you have let me see if I can find the one where it's actually in the yard, because that one was the most. It would be 4520.
4520.
Yeah, and you'll see that one the almost triangular like spread on it, right? And it's low height. That is a relatively low plant. When most people think nutsedge, they think yellow nutsedge, which is going to be really tall, right? The old school, old heads in Memphis used to call nutsedge, you'd hear it called watergrass. Sometimes you'd hear it called inchinite. And so what'd you call it? Inchinite, meaning it grows an inch a night. And that's when you're, like legit in the old areas of Memphis, you'd hear that. So anyway, this one clearly is not growing an inch of night. And so that is going to be purple nutsedge. Then we had, what was it? Let me pull up my other screen. I'm going to open this up to the channel members too, just to, I don't know, walk around and find out. We'll see what happens. Why? Because we can, gosh damn it. Holy fuck, we got a ton of mailbags.
Yeah.
Let me pop back over to the screen with the video so I can look at the chat too. I should have popped it out when I had the chance and I didn't. All right, let me do this. Bear with me, everyone, while I get somewhat organized, as some people say. I don't say that, but there are fuckers out there that do so. So Looney said, what in Fiesta, which is HEDTA, makes it a weed control versus just EDTA, and how could HEDTA be improved for better weed efficacy? This is a loaded question. Now, hang on, let me look up the, are you sure it's HEDTA or is it HEP? let me do this. HEDTA chelate. Okay, so it's going to be hydroxy ethylene diamine triacetic acid, right? So with that hydroxy on the front of it there, what would that hydroxy do? If I had to guess, it's going to make it a little more. Wait, let me look at the two molecules next to each other. EDTA chelate. Here, this should give me a picture of it. Yeah, I'm not seeing really much of a difference here at all between these molecules. Really, what it comes down to, still carboxylic acid and an amine, and it is a hexadentate ligand. And basically, it just forms a salt, right? It forms a salt with iron that is that's protected. Now let me look at the Fiesta herbicide label. All right, we'll go here, and then if I had to guess, it's going to be a function of the rate, because broadleaf weeds are typically sensitive to iron in general, and if you legitimately want to fuck around and find out, like, go get you some ferrous sulfate and dissolve, a pound in a gallon of water. Add a handful of ammonium sulfate and go spray some clover and mouse ear chickweed or something. And you're going to see some pretty extreme discoloration out of it. And that's just because that's what it does. So it looks like they add a little bit of sodium nitrate too. So there we go. It is going to be an iron EDTA plus a touch of. That is on the SDS. So they add a touch of sodium nitrate as well too. Sodium being also a salt, if you think about it, sodium nitrate is also a salt. But you're also adding a little bit of nitrogen because they want that organic certification. Sodium nitrate is an organic quick release nitrogen. So 2 parts. One, it's salty, which, plants have a phytotoxic rate of salt, right? Then you also have the phytotoxic rate of iron, and then you have a little bit of nitrogen, which is going to help with translocation throughout the plant. So that is how it's working, and I'm still trying to find a fucking label that lists the rates. Now here is Engage. This is going to be close enough. So yeah, here we go. 12 to 25 ounces per thousand. So what you can do, if you have any EDTA loony, EDTA iron, go mix it up at 12.5 to 25 ounces per thousand, and go spray your lawns and watch what happens to the weeds. The lawn will probably turn black for a little while too, but it will recover. Your desirable turf grasses will recover. And there it is. That'll work. Yeah, 813 King. It's a secret show. We posted it up there. So come on in. It's top secret, hot secret. But you've got the link. If you clearly, if you don't know this, you've got the link right here.
Ray, I don't think you're sending audio still.
Oh shit! No, I've got to do it this way. Fuck! If I do that.
Okay. Now, J-Big.
Yeah, there it is. You're live.
There, that's better, Ray.
Yeah. Now you got me.
Up.
You got to make it unlisted, Matt.
Yeah. I fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. That was my bad. You're right, 813 King. I fucked up.
It's rare that you'll Here, Matt, have to admit he fucked up, but he will admit when he fucks up.
Oh yeah. I foobarred that one. All right, now let me go back here. Yeah, that's all it is, Looney. It's 25 ounces per 1,000 square feet.
What is that for? EDTA iron?
Yeah, yeah. He's asking what's the difference between HEDTA and EDTA, and not really shit.
I got a funny one for people that are lawn history buffs. I've heard of this Victorian era formula called lawn sand. And lawn sand was intended to control moss, weeds, and diseases.
Yep.
Right? So, ingredients of the lawn sand could include ferrous sulfate, lead arsenate or copper arsenate, and mercuric chloride.
That sounds like a good time.
I pity
like
the
poor little lead and mercury going down
and arsenic around. Yeah, I mean that is just like a nightmare for the greenskeeper.
Looney, how could that be improved for better weed advocacy? I have no idea, man.
Non-ionic surfactants?
Anything to help try to get more of it into the plant. So maybe adding a little bit more nitrogen to it, what's already in the container. And per 1,000 square feet, we're talking like, dissolve a half pound of ammonium sulfate, right? So not a full pound, which is going to give you a quarter of a, I'm saying like a tenth of N in it, or even 5/10 of a pound of N. No. Half a tenth, 0.05 pounds.
0.5 pounds of N, 0.05.
Yeah,
because
and
I'm pretty sure that
be a 20th of a pound.
But then that would still be really spicy in combination with the iron. Regardless,
it would be.
It'd be super spicy.
Yeah, but you can take a generic off-the-shelf EDTA iron and run it at 25 ounces per 1,000 and get the exact same fucking results as you will from the Fiesta. That's a little fun fact there. Well, what is the concentration of that? Let me look. Where am I? Okay, this is why they do the HEDTA chelate. It's because they can get a higher concentration of iron in solution. In EDTA,
it's more soluble.
Yeah. EDTA, you're only going to be able to get up to like a 6% iron.
Yeah, there's a solubility limit.
Yeah, you can get up to 26.5. But still, you go spray 25 ounces of EDTA iron, you're going to turn the weeds black, guaranteed.
Yeah. Or have you ever seen what happens when you go up to like, say, 4 to 8 ounces of ferrous sulfate per 1,000 square foot?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Or you spill a scoop of it, like a quarter of a pound, just knocks out of your container right on the ground and blows a hole in it that doesn't grow back for a long time.
Yep.
Thoughts on converting lawn to zoysia at my family's cottage in Connecticut on the coast? Does zoysia have decent salt tolerance? Why is zoysia?
Zoysia actually
in Connecticut
has excellent salt tolerance. However,
Bermuda
it's going to be but zoysia would be a motherfucker to mow, and it would only stay green maybe 3 or 4 months out of the entire year in Connecticut.
So one of the cold tolerant, Iron Cutter, Tahoma 31, Northbridge, those would probably be your better bet with Bermuda grasses than zoysia, especially in Connecticut. That if you do get frost, if you do get freeze damage, winter kill, and it's zoysia, you're foobarred, because you're not going to have a long enough growing season to grow it back in. But with Bermuda grass, as aggressive as this grower it is, you could get that grown back in should you have to deal with winter kill. And being in Connecticut, it would not be if you get winter kill, it's going to be when you get winter kill. So that would be my recommendation. Somebody said just add Tricopier to the Fiesta. Unfortunately, he's in Canada. And
you can't do that in Canada.
Yeah, can't do that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Kevin Shepard said, what is your go-to cool season, middle of the season, no preem cleanup mix? My thought is a Claim Extra, Carpentrazone, Pyrofluoroethyl, or in Tricopier. I mean, not sure if I'm allowed to apply quinclorac. You can apply quinclorac. You're saying because it's the state of New York.
Okay,
mine would be
here's the rule.
Pylex and Carfentrazone and quinclorac, or Pylex and sulfentrazone would actually be my preferred.
Here's the rules on quinclorac in New York. Must be a TNO certified operator, and they're also limited to spot sprays only of individual weeds in a lawn. That's the rules for applying quinclorac in the state of New York, outside of, I think, Nassau County and Long Island. Long Island, you're not allowed any quinclorac, I believe.
But Pylex sulfentrazone is one hell of a cleanup mix, and you can add, Tricopier or any sort of broadleaf herbicide to that if you're looking to broaden your spectrum of control. But I mean, that would be plenty. Aldo, keeping bare ground with trees, flumioxazin plus glyphosate would be sufficient. I don't see the need for adding fusilade and surfland. Flumioxazin has a long enough residual there that I don't
actually, flumioxazin. The benefit to flumioxazin is that flumioxazin is excellent on broadleaves, whereas the Orizolan or surfland is better on grassy weeds.
Flumioxazin is in what is the trade name for that? I'm drawing a blank.
SureGuard, Matt. Yeah.
But would you say flumioxazin plus glyphosate would? So you're saying surfland added to that is going to offer you a better spectrum of pre-emergent control than just
way better, because you see, flumioxazin is generally weaker on grasses. However, surfland or Orizolan is not very strong on broadleaves. So you kind of have to figure on both, because if I had to keep what's called soft bare ground, my preferred would be something like flumioxazin plus Orizolan, or flumioxazin plus indaziflatin.
I'm gonna go over here. Phoenix Lawn Care submitted a picture, says need help getting this lawn healthier. I can tell you right now, just looking at that picture, it's hungry. That wants to be fertilized. If you don't have a soil test with it, man, I'd at least go get some damn nitrogen and just apply it. Apply a half pound in, see how it does. Give it a few weeks. I don't know where you are, Phoenix, but that's cool season grass, and I can't tell by what trees you have in the background. I'm scoping. Let me see if I can zoom in a little more on this photo here. I can tell that lawn has not been established very long, too. Is that a hickory in the back? No, we got some oak trees. Looks like a maple over there. I can't know what that is. But yeah, that, man, in my opinion, that looks starving. So what I would do is definitely fertilize it.
It missed its fall feeding, didn't it? Yeah.
You can see it's in the shade. It's green, right? And in the main area of the lawn is where it's struggling. And so yes, part of that's going to be a heat issue, right? And so I know it's going to sound counterintuitive to fertilize it, but a half pound in, you're not going to smoke all that grass, so you'll be okay. Do that. Pray for a little bit of rain and see if it doesn't rectify quite significantly, because just looking at it from here, that grass is fucking starving, in my opinion. Matt Sensi said, thoughts on these soil tests. A pH of 7.4, 90 parts per million of phosphorus, 105 parts per million of potassium, 150 of magnesium, 13 of sulfur. So this is pretty simple. I would apply ammonium sulfate. Now, you can run into an issue here where you're not at the point of potassium where I'm starting to shit my pants, but I get, me personally, over my years, when I dip below 100 is where I start to make sure I include K in my fertilizer blends. That's my thing. Some people will tell you that's a waste of money. If you're following MLSN to the letter of the law, then you don't need to apply things. This is going to come down to each individual. Ray is probably going to apply it a hell of a lot earlier than I would at 100 parts per million. But this is Kentucky bluegrass. I'm not going to sweat it a whole lot. So the remainder of this season, I'll tell you right now, with where your sulfur is and where your pH is, ammonium sulfate is going to work. Now, I'll say this too. I would not go aggressive on your pH program trying to drop it and then accidentally get it down to like a 5.8, because if you look, your aluminum levels are also 500 parts per million. And you do not want to solubilize that aluminum.
Yeah, do not solubilize aluminum at all.
I wouldn't be out there running mega doses of elemental sulfur. I wouldn't be running mega doses of citric acid every other week, trying to be crazy. Again, ammonium sulfate is going to provide you enough temporary acidification there to help solubilize all that, and
also there's one more factor now, Matt.
Yep.
If he is maintaining this as a lower maintenance lawn where clippings are not collected and grass is not mowed low, then nutrient requirements overall are not as high.
Sure.
I mean, you don't need to get too freaked out about the K levels as long as this is a normally maintained lawn.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean that's just my little rule, is that there's always a context regarding suggested nutrient amounts, because if somebody tells me that they're mowing low and picking up clippings, then my red flag is going to be P under 100 and K under 100. Then I get alarmed if somebody is actually doing that. But if they're maintaining it like a normal lawn, that amount of P and K is fine. Just AMS as the nitrogen source, and I think you're good.
Gerald, my business is in Cookeville. I'm right off exit 286.
Mm-hmm.
Spent a lot of time there. I was there earlier today. Let's see. Any advice when applying Celsius and certainty? No.
No. Nothing special about it.
No, not at all.
Just send it. Just send it.
Lawn radiant, spraying a half pound in from AMS per 1,000. Amount of carrier volume to make that safe and not burn. 2 gallons per 1,000. I would have zero qualms with. At 1 gallon per 1,000, just make sure you water it in within 24 hours ish.
After, yeah.
Yeah, Ray's gonna say after. I'll play a little loosey goosey with you. You might get some tip burn, but it'll. As water hits it, it'll be gone within 24 hours after water hits it with tip burn and a half pound in. So unless you're under heavy regulation, then it could be a nightmare. Jason, I think I remember, Jason Trailer, your question. You were asking about reapplication intervals on PGR, if I recall correctly. Please copy it here just to make sure I get that correctly. J Pink, he's in Louisville, Tennessee. J Pink, we may have to go pay that guy a visit. How about them apples?
Oh.
Come out here and do. I've had a dozen truckloads of soil brought in. Along with the soil came everything you can imagine. Some of the lawn has little to no grass. Other patches mismatched of fescue and Bermuda. I did pre-emergence.
Oh, this is Walter Knight?
Yeah. If you don't mind, just reply to him and CC me on it, and we'll schedule a time on a weekend to go out there and look at that. Trying to find the best place to plug into your live content. YouTube, Twitch, Patreon. I have specific questions about my Bermuda glasses. I believe I have thoroughly screwed my lawn over. John Davis, yeah, Patreon is definitely going to be the easiest because you're one, you get access to everything on YouTube and Twitch, and then you get our private Discord. Like we have this show only open right now to our members, and so we're going to prioritize answering those questions first. And then you can always get real-time feedback at all times. So we recommend Patreon.com because it keeps everything consolidated in a place where we can go reference it at one time. And I promise, when we want to hang out through the course of the day, what app do we open first? It ain't YouTube, it ain't email, it's Discord, so we can shit talk one another. It's fun. Caller, you're live.
Go ahead, cowboy.
Go ahead, cowboy.
Hello.
Who do we have on? Hey, who do we have on the phone?
It's claiming that. Hold on, it's our fault. We'll have to call.
Oh.
It's Phoenix Lawn Care.
This is Gerald. This is Gerardo with Phoenix Lawn Care.
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Hold on, it's my fault.
Oh,
there we go. I think now I'll be able to hear.
Hey, you got us now
with the grass that's starving.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear us?
Probably
yeah, I know one of the reasons that I had not fertilized it was because I was kind of like nervous because I know you guys keep talking about like PCM and I'm fairly new to the fertilization side of lawn care.
Hey, are you listening to us on YouTube or are you listening to us through the phone? Because it's like a 20-second delay, so I think you're listening through YouTube. Can you put it on speakerphone or something that way so you can hear us instantly? Because we're going to be coming at you through the phone.
I think it should be sending audio now.
I got it on speakerphone, but I cannot hear anything on the phone.
Okay, then that's my fault.
Yeah, 1 second here. We're doing a little tech thing. Should we call him back?
Yeah, we'll call him right back.
Yeah, we're going to call you, Phoenix.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Look, we're going to call him. Matt, does any problem with applying SOP during the summer on cool season grass at a quarter pound? No, not at all.
None.
No problem with that. Jason Trailer, we will get to that. There's an app to use for that. You can use the Greenkeeper app, and there's also a spreadsheet that Evie did, and he can share it with you in the Discord, and it will track your growing degree days for you. You want to make your reapplication windows based on growing degree days, so somewhere in that 200 to 220 range. Gerald's.
No, I'm trying to fix it.
Oh, J Pink's fixing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's
you want to apply.
I updated and then haven't tested the live call thing since I updated. That's my fault.
I update everything, so it's like the Wild West whenever I turn anything on. What's working today? If you guys had to pick a few micronutrient apps during the year, what would you guys more heavily rely on? I would just get a broad spectrum one. That's just going to have, you can either do just iron and you're going to be fine. But if you want to make sure you cover your bases, iron, manganese, zinc, would be the three I would focus.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey.
You got me?
Hey, I can hear you guys clearly now.
Hell yeah!
All
we got
right.
it figured out. We're slow, but we get there.
Yeah, no. I'm actually located in Cookeville, Tennessee, in the Baxter Allgood area.
Oh hell yeah! I'm off Imperial Drive. I know all about it, buddy.
Oh man, heck yeah, that's awesome. I'll have to meet you sometime whenever you're not super busy.
Just show up, and you never know what you may walk up. I may be up on a ladder. There might be someone overdosing in the parking lot. It gets wild out there in Cookeville sometimes.
That's funny. Yeah, well, the reason I was calling, I listen to you guys all the time, and I always try to take notes and listen to everything you guys say. And I do get nervous applying, fertilizer later on, in the year when it's starting to get hot. Luckily, we've had all this rain, and I was wondering, and I knew that lawn was kind of like, needing to be fed, but I didn't know what to apply on it. I know I wanted to do like a slow release fertilizer. I've applied earlier in the year. It was a 21-8-12 slow release starter fertilizer.
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
So do you have more of that? Like you got bags of that laying around?
No, but I can get them really easy. Or if you guys would recommend something else, like I know I do want it a little bit greener and stuff, and I know you guys talk about the Mesa fertilizer a lot. I know it costs more. I think they were wanting like $40.
Here's what I would do.
I don't know if that.
Here's what I would do.
How much is your 2812 though? How much is that?
Yeah.
I think it was like $25.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's like going co-op down the road. And then no, it's 20.
What are you gonna say, Ray?
39, 15, 20.
You know what?
10.
Here's what I would say. I'd stop fudding around with all of the cute formulations and just get down a half a pound of AMS. Done. And here's why. It's because when you're coming into summer, you literally want your fertilizer to release, feed up the grass, and then be out of there by July and August. You want it to be gone. I don't want residual from any supposed slow release several months later.
Okay.
I don't want it. Instead, what I want you to do is this time in the fall, starting in September, start throwing down a half to 3/4 of a pound of nitrogen per month up until the grass goes dormant in the winter. Because you're dealing with cool season grass, aren't you? This is not Bermuda,
sir.
right? Okay.
No.
If it's turf type tall fescue or a cool season mix, that is how you appropriately take care of a cool season grass in the transition zone. You do the majority of your feeding in the fall, and then maybe a little bit of non-slow release in the spring, and then you have it all good going through the summer, because in summer you should be letting the grass cruise and not be pushing on it in the summer.
And now I'll say this is that in Cookville, we've had such weird, it just hasn't been blazing hot, even still yet, right? Like, normally now you go outside and, 15 minutes later, you're pouring sweat head to toe, especially last year. It was smoking hot. And this year, especially like this week, haven't seen the sun all week, right? And so it's been warm and humid, but it hadn't been hot yet. So, I think that's probably why you ended up chooching out a fertilizer when you did. Is just because we've had this extended, vigorous growing season where everything's just been on fire. And then, of course, that's coming right out of a drought too, right? So we went long-ass drought with good temperatures, and then right after that, metric shit tons of rain, just tons and tons and tons of rain. Do you typically spread or spray fertilizer?
Spread it granular, and that's at a rate of 4 pounds of product. That's what the supplier recommended due to the preel size, and that would give me like an even coat, like an even spread, uniform spread pattern.
So there's I would, if you have to spread, you're probably not going to be able to find granular ammonium sulfate where we are. But
I have some that's 2100.
Yeah, it's granular
ammonium sulfate. Yes,
that's the stuff.
Hell yeah, then you're good to go.
Yeah, and it was only like $20 a bag, and then I went somewhere else to look for ammonium sulfate, and I bought some for $13 a bag, but it is the
Rural
wrong
King.
kind. It is like the stuff you put in a sprayer. Like it's 95,
Well,
like 99% ammonium sulfate.
Well, here's the thing about that sprayable AMS. That is an extremely fine granule that if you have a spreader that can handle it, it lends itself well to low rate applications because
The problem with it, Ray,
Ray,
is that when you find it around here in bags like that, especially out of Rural King, where you're getting it for $13 a bag, it is a solid brick. There is no.
they let it turn into a brick.
Yeah,
you gotta
you've
break
got
it up.
three large chunks that are going to weigh 15.5 pounds each. Is typically how that's going to come in the bag, and they do not break up real well.
I still remember what I had to do to some, I guess, prilled. I think it was prilled 4600. Does a 2x4 mean anything to you?
Just break it
Just
apart.
saying. Yeah. Just bang on it and break it, because I know what you all mean, because that's my frequent problem where any kind of dry fertilizer that I get here, if it's been in my location or where I'm at for any length of time, it all sets into a solid brick, Matt.
Yep.
All of it. It all turns into a brick. So I hear you.
If you got granular AMS, you're good to go. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the recommendation would be the 2100 and then put it at a half a pound per
Half a
1,000.
pound in.
Is that-
So you're probably not going to be able to spread that at 2 pounds per 1,000, but you probably can 3 pounds per 1,000. If you're using a Lesco spreader, I'm going to say you're probably somewhere around a 14 or 15 setting on that, depending on your prill size. And in fact, if you want to come by my office tomorrow, do you have his contact info, J Pink?
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a text, and if you want to come by tomorrow, I'll take it. Just bring that bag with you. I'll put eyes on it, and I'll be able to give you a better idea of what your spreader settings should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have any products there, then I'll pick whatever you got. I know you probably deal with.
Man, I got all kinds of stuff I sweep up off the floor and just laying around and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see what kind of trouble we can get you into. I don't know. We might, the fire department may come.
I look forward to it.
All right,
well,
I'll shoot you a text here shortly.
Hey, Phoenix, are you going to Dirty Deeds, Phoenix?
Yeah.
Oh!
And then I also had another question on that lawn. I am going to aerate it unless I need to skip on the aeration, and I'm going to put another 100 pounds of the coated seed. So I would
do
still
coated
follow
seed.
That same,
No, we're going to talk about this tomorrow. Don't do coated seed. Yes, you can aerate it and overseed it come September. We can do that. We're not doing coated seed though. Don't waste your money on that.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, I'm firing off a text to you here, and I'll see when you can get by the office.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right, yeah, no problem.
Bye.
Look at that, getting work done. I'm gonna meet a stranger tomorrow, but look, you do it enough times online, it is what it is. Hang on, let me. I'm gonna fire him a text real quick. And then let me look up.
While you do that, Matt, Ray, did you see one of those mailbag questions? It was asking about the rates for the mix for Chernobyl. They wanted to know if it was just label rate of each item.
I think they got it crossed, and I want to make sure that, are they asking for Chernobyl or are they asking for the Soul Stealer? Because Chernobyl and Soul Stealer are two totally different entities there, because if they're asking for Soul Stealer, then it would be 4 ounce per acre mesotrione, 48 ounce per acre glyphosate, 32 ounce triclopyr, and 12 ounce per acre Flazafop or Fusillade. So, because Chernobyl is an entirely different thing, Chernobyl ensures that nothing lives there for the next 12 months. Soul Stealer, on the other hand, is your eradication mix prior to renovating. So, be sure of which one you want, because, of course, the mesotrione, the glyphosate, and the triclopyr and the Fusillade is to eradicate all growth and yet allow you to reno a month after your last application. Yeah, make sure you know which one, because with actual Chernobyl, it's one and done. Nothing lives there for the next year.
Go ahead, Cowboy. Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hey, I hear you.
Hey.
Who we got on the line?
It's Jason Trailer, man.
Jason Trailer, what are you doing?
Hey.
How much weight have you lost, brother?
About a hundo, somewhere around there.
Man, that's a whole kid, man.
It is.
Okay.
is.
Okay.
used
The
to
joke
eat
is,
children.
Awesome,
I stopped
man.
eating children.
I'm not trying to get gay on you, but I'd like tweak on you a little bit.
Well, I appreciate that.
Okay.
I've been going hard in the past.
Jason, the literal fact is that Matt almost lost one of me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you could imagine the bowel movement it took to pass Ray out of me, it was it hurt, Jason. It hurt.
Yeah, that had to be a rough one.
I got it done though. Hey, look, it's sometimes you just got to suck it up and get through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, embrace the suck. I embrace the suck. I get it. I've been there, my friend. I've been there.
With the so he's talking about reapplication intervals on Trinaxapac ethyl, and so growing degree days is what we're looking for. And does Greenkeeper app only have the paid version now? They don't have a
I think it's only paid
the
now.
free version.
Yeah. So it is only
I did the Nebraska spreadsheet, Matt. I went through there. And I guess I screwed something up, because basically it's telling me I got to do it every 6 days, and I'm like, no way. I'm like, this is crazy.
And now you're in Texas. I could see every 12 to 17 days, but 6 sounds a little tight. What is your base temperature?
And see, I guess that's where I screwed up. So I guess I'm supposed to be at 10C rather than 0C, is what somebody told me.
10C, yeah. You should be at 10C because there's two different GDDs, because one GDD, the 10C is intended for Bermuda grass greens, whereas 0C is meant for bent greens. And even then, let me ask you, what is your normal height of cut?
Right now I'm about 3/8 of an inch.
If you're at 3/8 of an inch, then I would imagine off the top of my head.
What rate are you applying? Are you doing 10 ounces an acre, 11 ounces an acre?
So I haven't done it yet.
What is that per
from
thousand?
what I read, because I have Tiff Tough in the back, and then I kind of got some Hodgepodge Common and 419 in the front.
Okay, let me just stop you right there.
Per acre.
Let me just stop you right there, in that I'm going to advise you that Tiff Tough is very non-responsive to Trinexapac.
Common is, though.
Common is responsive, and the old legacy hybrids like your Tifway and your Tiff Green, very responsive. So what you will find is that
in Texas, you'll see Common, Tiff 419, and then what he chose with the Tiff Tough there. It's just some food for thought there, Ray.
Yeah. Well, what's going to probably happen is your Tiff Tough is probably going to need rates close to a half an ounce per 1,000 square foot, if not more. Whereas your other variety that is not Tif Tuff is probably going to need, like, I want to say 0.25 ounce or less per 1,000 square foot applied every 14 days. That's usually what I see.
And this is what I would recommend too, Jason, especially since you're kicking it off. I know that's newer side too, is ease into it, right? So you would work up to a half ounce per 1,000. So maybe your first app, and you still follow it off your growing degree days. Just don't expect it to be curb stomped into absolutely zero growth after your first app, right? You're going to wean this bad boy up, right? You're titrating up with your PGR. So, and probably what you could do is whatever 8 ounces per acre is, or 10 ounces per acre. I think that would be a good starting point that you could start on front and back, right? And what you would do is spray your front yard once and your backyard twice as you wean up, right? So not out of the gate, your first app, so we'll say we'll do 10 ounces. What is that? 43.5. So we'll start at 0.25. Okay. And you're going to spray the front yard once and the backyard once. You're going to log that application. As you start getting closer to 200 growing degree days, you're going to make that second application. I'd probably stick right there at the 0.25 again. Once in the front yard, once in the backyard. Get to your 200 growing degree days, and in your area, that's probably going to be 12 to 17 days, somewhere in that range. Then your third app, this is where you could go spray your front yard once, double app your backyard. You're still at 0.25, right? You're still at 0.25. Double app your backyard. So now, effectively, in your backyard, you're getting to that 0.5, right? So 0.5 times 0.5 times 43.5. Son of a bitch, how did I do that? So that's it's roughly 20 ounces per 1,000. For sake of math, 21.5 ounces per 1,000.
Yeah, 21.5 ounces per.
And yes, I can't remember what the upper end is on Tif Tuff. Maybe
they've gone as high.
I can't remember.
24 to 32, Matt. 24 it's gone high.
So you've still got plenty of room to play with there, right? That if you want to stomp it even harder, you see what I'm saying? But chances are you should be sufficient this first year doing that. Get used to it, because and let me tell you why. What's going to end up happening, Jason, is you're going to make this is your first season doing it. You're going to see where you missed an area spraying. And you're going to be like, the grass is 1.25 inches tall in this one area when the rest of it is 3/4 of an inch. What in the hell happened? And it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. And it's just the nature of it as you get used to dealing with growth regulators, right? So I wouldn't try to hurry up, get impatient, hurry up and run up there to see what it looks like when you get the full rate at 24 ounces per acre. You're not going to be that mesmerized by it, right? So start small, incrementally work your way up. And as you get deeper into regulation, right? And when I mean deeper into regulation, I'm not saying by rate, I'm saying length of time under suppression. As you get deeper into it, that's where you're going to start to see the wow factor. It's not going to be the rate that gives you the wow factor. It's just going to be the length of time under regulation that does, if that makes sense.
Got you. Is there, for Tif Tuff in general, is there a better PGR to get?
Oh man, there is.
Ray is
however,
I mean, come on, I'm a blue collar guy. Like, I don't have $1 billion, Like,
okay, here's the thing: is that there is something, but the risk to reward ratio is a lot steeper. Okay, because if I wanted more profound regulation on Tif Tuff, I'd be looking at a combination product that has trinexapac and flurprimidol in it, sold as edgeless.
Edgeless?
However,
edgeless?
Edgeless, yes sir. It's called edgeless. However, when you look at the labeling, do not apply the trim and edge rate of that edgeless to your lawn. You only apply 1/4 that rate per 1,000 square foot, and also do not apply that to your mixed area of common 419 and other, because
It's gonna turn
fluoropyrimidol,
gray.
no, fluoropyrimidol is seriously strong. I mean, the only time I've ever told somebody to put fluoropyrimidol on their Tiftuff was because he wasn't going to be able to cut his grass for the next 6 weeks because he was going in for back surgery. That's the only time
look,
I've ever told
Jason, you
somebody to
can
do it.
regulate it harder, but you're not going to be more impressed with the look, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going T-Nex because I already got the bottle. So I was just curious. But with that
Yeah.
said, I just, not even a month ago, I sanded, aerated, sanded the entire yard.
Oh, yeah.
And everything's good. I'm like 98% all grown back in. There's still a little bit of sand in some of the lower areas where I put it on a little thicker. T-Nex will help get it sideways, right?
Yeah, it'll help
Yeah.
it. It'll help it. And the thing is that moderate amounts of T-Nex are literally something that I use as a tool to encourage density and fill-in, if you can imagine. I mean, I do it. I even if the lawn is like a little thin for whatever reason, I don't hammer it into submission. I just utilize the T-Nex to slow down the rate of vertical growth while encouraging a little more lateral growth. That's what T-Nex can do for a lawn. Likewise, even the other PGR, if the rates are moderate, can have that same effect of encouraging the fill-in. However, like I said, if you do want to go into that edgeless / legacy PGR application, look at the rates and start at the low end, and also know that once you start applying fluoropyrimidol, your reapplication interval on that product extends to at least 1 month.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
dude, the tip stuff is I mow every other day.
That sounds
the
like
tip
Tif Tuff.
is just it grows. It's freaking banging. It looks awesome, but man, it's like I got to go out of town. I'm like, how the heck am I going to mow? Literally, my yard's 3/8 of an inch. It looks great, but I'm like, I got to figure this out.
Look, a month into regulation, you're going to cut that down significantly, and then especially as you get your rate up there to 20 ounces an acre, you're going to be happy with your rate of suppression.
Yeah,
it'll
get
still
better.
gives you
Even
flexibility
if I can go
that you can
once
run a little
week,
higher
man.
if you need
If I
to.
could do once a week, that would be amazing.
Oh, you'll get
That
there.
would
You'll get there.
you're gonna get there once you go higher up. You ramp it up, you titrate up. You're gonna get there, and as I said, should you get brave and do the PGR with the fluoropyrimidol in it, I know for sure you can cut it down to 1 time a week mowing, but then just be aware of how long that stuff actually lasts. Okay?
Yeah.
Just be aware, because I know I use a lot of fluoropyrimidol, but that's with the understanding that I know what it does and how long it lasts. So, that's just food for thought right there.
Oh yeah, I'll check it out. I mean, I try to buy stuff in advance before the season, and then I use what I have for the season.
And then the other advice I can give you is that when possible, the way I like to induce regulation is a little different from maintaining regulation, in that I like to ease a lawn into regulation with Trinexapac or T-Nex first, and then I start adding to it, as needed as the season goes on, if that makes sense.
I got you.
I don't just hammer it.
Yeah, I guess I'm
with-
probably a little late starting on the regulation, but
No, you're not.
It's been a
You're
weird
not.
year. Like it really. It's
Yeah,
been
you'll
a
be
weird
all right.
year.
You're not late, because here's the thing: is that the first thing I tell people about applying stuff to a lawn, do not look at a calendar. Understand? Never mind
Oh, I was
what
looking at
date
the
it
lawn.
is.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah, but then what I
I'm
say
cutting the shit out of this damn thing.
Yeah, but then what I say about applications is that when you get there, it's if you think you need to do something, the best time to do it is right now. Don't worry about what time it is. Worry about getting it done and moving on with that going forward. I mean, never mind what time it is or what date it is. Because when somebody asks me about applying something, if they need it, my answer is always best time to get it done or to do it is, how about right now? Get it done.
Yeah.
Okay? Get it done.
Well, it's going down in the morning, so.
All
hopefully
right.
all
All
goes
right.
well.
I'm gonna say a prayer for you, Jason. And if you mess up, just send me a picture and we can all point and laugh at it together.
Hey,
I'll take the blame for it
I'm
too.
down for
I'll
that.
take the blame
I'm down
for
for that. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't think the tip stuff. I don't think it's going to be phased, but I think the common. That's the little bit of common that's out there. I think it's going to be the more.
Nah,
Down to
your
Pete.
first app, your first app, your first app, you're gonna be like, it's starting to. But by the time you get your second app down, you're gonna be like, oh, okay. Even your tip,
Okay,
stuff,
all right.
you'll notice it.
Yeah, you'll see it. You'll see it. I mean, you're gonna see it, and then, as I said, once you get it into a routine where like you're doing PGR like every 14 days at an appropriate rate, that's when you're really going to see the positives of it. And yet at the same time, other hint that I'm going to give you about this is your first app is going to tend to cause a bit of bronzing.
Yeah, you're
And
gonna
what-
get some discoloration. Don't panic.
Don't freak out. But then the way to mitigate some of that bronzing or discoloration is to add a little nitrogen to the spray, add a little bit of iron and micronutrients to the spray. That'll help keep the grass greener while still maintaining the regulation. So,
Well, I just put down the what is it? The Green Or, the 500, which I think the formula's changed on me, Matt. But I think it's Green Or. I put it down.
Yeah, the SP, the powder.
Yeah. The
yeah,
stuff
the-
that
yeah,
like
iron, yeah.
literally breathes iron.
Yeah, you cut it
know
up
what
with
I'm
the
talking
card
about.
and then you snort it. Yeah.
Oh,
and then
man. Like,
you go pee on
know
your
when
yard.
You use that stuff. You know it.
Oh, yes, you do.
No, I
you
literally,
should
I
try
just put it-
packaging
I just
it.
put it down at 2 ounces per 1,000.
yeah, well,
Oh yeah, you're
you're
so-
good. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to throw just a handful of whatever fertilizer you have, do you have any more 1818?
I got 1818. I got 1707, sir. Yes, sir.
Put you a handful in with your T-Nex, literally whatever you can fit in a hand, a gloved hand, and and throw that in the tank with it. It doesn't have to be any crazy rate. You don't have to get fancy with it, but just get you a little in there, just to help combat with the bronzing.
Okay,
Is that-
cool.
is
And
that-
don't
I-
panic when you see it.
Yeah, don't don't think you killed it, because I know I bronze lawns all the time. Okay,
Oh yeah.
I do it, and then the trade-off is when people say, "Holy smokes, you're mowing it that low and it doesn't scalp." Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, thank you guys
yeah,
for the advice. I know there's other people that want to call. I gotta do a bow nose turf, and I don't know if I missed this one for you guys, but I was looking on YouTube for PGR videos, and there's some bozo on there, and he's putting down his PGR, and my wife's watching it with me, and I'm like, look what he's doing wrong. Like, the dude had on no PPE. He's out there with his tennis shoes, and like, I was like, what goes through your head, man? Like, I put on
Is it-
freaking chemical resistant boots to spray fertilizer. Like,
If
I couldn't.
if it was 2008, that would be Matt, except I'd have a cigarette hanging out of my mouth while I was doing it. So, you know.
It wasn't you,
Yeah.
brother. It wasn't you. I can tell you that.
It's circa
Yeah.
2008. It would have been
I
me.
don't know. I don't get it.
I may have had
Oh,
Pramitol in the tank or something within that case.
Yikes.
I might have had
Yikes.
2 cigarettes in my mouth, as a matter of fact.
Oh, Lord.
And a
Well,
natty
I
white.
mean, that's those were the good old days. But then here's the thing about the good old days is that I've always said that the jokers that were in tennis shoes or worse and stirring their spray tank with their bare hand,
Oh yeah, nice,
Matt?
nice.
all those
I
jokers
did not do that.
are all
Awful.
dead because you know what, guys? I knew people like that, okay? I knew people like that back in the 1990s.
Yeah,
But
I
none of
I
them-
never did that.
But none of them made it past year 2000.
Thanks.
All right.
Lesson learned, Jason Traylor. Do not mix your spray tank with a bare hand. Can you promise me that?
I mean, I will admit, like I've had to put my hand in there. Like I had a clog, and I was like, crap, I got to put my hand in there. And I
That's
got the
happened to me,
glove
too.
on. I'm like, I don't even like this, but I'm doing it.
Well, I mean,
Well, if you,
I'm
if
talking-
You got a good glove on. You got
yeah, if it's a good glove, you're all good. I'm talking about those guys where they would stick their hand in it, and you know, it's like it's still clumpy. Got to mix it more, or else. I've heard of a crazier one where they then lick their finger, and if it doesn't smart on their tongue, it's like, oh, not enough shit
Oh,
in
wow.
here. Got to put in more.
Hey, you
I just think
redheaded, big, beautiful, bearded bastard. Are you still working night shifts?
No, I'm all days. I only did nights for a short period of time when it was necessary.
Well, when you gonna come on here and do a Thirsty Thursday with us?
Man, I've thought about it a few times. I just don't know if I'm worthy, my friend.
No,
You
get
are.
that shit out of here. Don't Trailer.
You are worthy.
Put your ass in a headlock.
Oh, no, I would love to, man. I really would. I would love to. That'd be awesome.
I know you got to. I feel like I've known you for 30 years, so at least you got to come
I
on and
know,
do a
right?
Thirsty Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. We can make it happen. It's just a matter of time.
I'll make time for you. You just let me know when.
All right, sounds good. We'll
All
have to
right,
make it happen, man. I really appreciate you guys. Everything you guys do.
We appreciate you.
And you stop getting so damn skinny, man. You're making us fat boys look bad.
I'll try. I'm gonna go order
All
a
right.
pizza. after
Love
this.
you guys.
All right. Have a good
All
night.
right, Jason. Good night.
After Bermuda plugs double in size, would that be a good time to put it under regulation? I think so. I think you're fine if they're double in size. Let's look at some more of these mails here. We said,
Mhm.
hope everyone had a great Father's Day. Just read a study out of Western Washington Research and Extension, published February of 1977, Volume 1, Issue 13, showing decent results on POA annual post-emergent control in bentgrass Kentucky bluegrass using Indothol. I've never
Yikes.
heard of this product, nor is it labeled for use on turf. I have 100% Kentucky bluegrass front lawn and a mix of tall fescue, perennial rye, Kentucky bluegrass, and pine fescue in my backyard with severe POA problem in the backyard that is driving me nuts. Located in East Islip. Is that Islip? Islip? I don't know. Y'all talk funny up in New York, so I don't even know. East ISLIP. I'm going to call it Islip just to sound like a shitbag. I'm on Long Island. How about that? There you go. In Long Island. Sandy soil profile. Wanted to know what you gentlemen think about using this product called Indothol. Do you think it's safe? Thank you in advance. Talk to us about Indothol, Ray. If from 1977, you're probably the only one here that was old enough to remember that.
Okay. Endothol used to be labeled for application to turf grass for broadleaf weeds and POA. However, by the 1980s, that got quickly yanked off the market via mutual agreement of the EPA and the chemical manufacturers.
Why?
Number one, Endosol has an LD50 of, I believe, 50 milligrams per kilogram. For
How
starters.
many? 15 milligrams per kilogram?
50. 50.
Yeah.
But that's still terrible.
That's
And
still
secondly-
terrible.
And secondly, Endosol has a pretty narrow margin of safety to the turf grass itself. Because here's another fun little, bit of trivia. Endosol is sold in Australia as a POA control for lawns.
Wow.
They'll do it in Australia. In fact, I think Ben Sims would know what I'm talking about. But
I'm
then,
also seeing here that key interactions between human protein phosphatase and mutagenesis bioassays. What you do not want to see when you're using a product is studies on mutagenesis and how
in other words,
it is in the human body.
what that means is that there's a potential for that endosol exposure to cause cancer.
Yeah.
That's what that means. And that plus the acute toxicity issue was why there is no endosol labeled for turf grass use in the United States. And it does exist as an aquatic herbicide in the United States.
With
Okay.
a maximum contamination level of 100 parts per billion. Not parts per million, parts per billion.
Yeah, you see, I still remember a long time ago seeing a can of Endosol on the shelf of a garden shop, and that damn thing had like skull and crossbones on the label. Seriously. And there was instructions to basically keep the person that ingested it quiet and warm and send for a doctor immediately. How's that?
Let's see here. 90. Yeah, so 4.5 grams of Endothol has about a 50% chance of killing me. So to put that into perspective, what herbicide do we apply at 4.5 grams per gallon? That would be like something incredibly low use rate. It'd probably be a sulfonylurea that we're using at that kind of rate, 4.5 grams.
Yeah, that would be
thousand.
like an SU herbicide,
Yeah.
and the application rate per acre on that Endosol product for turf, as I remember it, was literally in like a couple pounds per acre.
Yeah, so you're handling enough to be toxic to me, Ray, and a significant number of other people. If that,
it would
puts it into
basically be
perspective for you.
enough to wipe out many people. And you know what? That is why I cringe at the people that don't take this kind of stuff seriously, because in another time, in a hand sprayer, a 1 gallon hand sprayer, you could literally have enough chemical to kill you a couple times over at least. I mean, that is why, again, I take pesticide safety seriously, and I don't like to see people clowning around. Because this stuff is meant to kill things. And it was a matter of how much.
Don, I hope that answers your question. And so if I were you, I would still clear. Now, I know what you're going to ask is, then gosh damn it, what do I do? If you have truly POA A and not POA pretensis, POA trivialis, ethifumicate. And we've talked a lot about ethifumicate, and so add that to your program, and then you can add other kickers to it, right? Like ethifumicate plus tenacity, mesotrione is probably going to be more efficacious than your endothall.
Actually,
What would you do, Ray?
Okay, if somebody honestly had a poa annua problem in their cool season turf, I would be hitting it with etho and mesotrione together in the fall and again in the spring. Because you see, when applying isofumicate, the manufacturer literally calls for you to apply in the fall and then apply again in the spring as the follow-up, so that you're applying numerous times. And there is a happy side effect of applying that much isofumicate to the turf. It's also a good pre-emergent for crabgrass and poa and a number of other weeds. So you're not just targeting your poa, you're also going after the other headaches in the turf. So,
and Don, you're going to see ethofumicate is ethofumicate 4SC from Willowwood. You'll see it as Poa Constrictor, and then you'll also see it as I can't remember the other trade name.
Progress from
Progress.
Yeah, Progress from Environmental Sciences. However, when possible, I would rather see people use the SC formulation, because the environmental science Progress formulation is gnarly. That stuff will stink up the entire neighborhood.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So there you go, Don. We'll get you away from the one that'll kill you and put you onto the one that'll help you. Bill said, I'm new to the green industry. Wanted to see if you had any recommendations for how I should study, learn enough about common pesticides, etc., to become comfortable making recommendations to customers. Any advice? Man, this is such a hard question, because there's not really a good, what I would consider, body of work through to get you ready to go, right? Because it's all kind of complementary with one another. There's not really any classes that you could jump into that are going to tackle, these are your various most common herbicides. These are the weeds that are have the greatest efficacy on. Target these AIs for broadleaves, these AIs for grassy weeds. This doesn't really exist right now in a consolidated form that will give you those answers. Maybe one day, if we come across just monumental amounts of time, we'll put that together, because I'd say that's a book we could put together that would actually be quite valuable. But it's just, I don't know of any off the top of my head. There's lots of continuing education classes out there. So point certification classes in your state, Bill, would probably help a ton. Finding guys in your area or just outside of your area that you can work alongside of, join our Discord and literally ask us questions, because there's a whole community of people that are in there doing this, that do it all day long. No, Coleman, that program does not do that, unfortunately. So there's, I wish I had a better answer for you, but I'll tell you that even coming out of college, you don't have that, right? Like, you'll get exposed to some of it, but a lot of that just comes from years in the field of dealing with it. And so I don't have a great answer for you, Bill. Ask us questions, get to know people in your area, and your county extension agent as well, too, if they have a guy that does turf. If you don't have a guy that does turf, they're going to give you all ag recommendations, and you're going to be like, this is stupid. So I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Cowboy.
Caller. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is B. Moss in Dallas.
What are you
Hey,
doing?
Ben.
Mushroom Ben.
Hey.
Yes, sir. What kind of trouble you guys up to?
We tripping balls tonight, or what? What you got going on the psilocybin side of town?
Oh, it's hot. It's hot as hell down here. You all know that. So we're always tripping balls. Trying to keep everything cool, actually. Otherwise, it doesn't grow. It's too hot.
I hear you. What you got going on, man?
But so I got a question for y'all. So I put in Tifgrand probably
it's probably been 3 years now. And this was before I was on the Discord. I was screwing around on lawnforum.com and didn't know any better, and really didn't do a kill of any kind of what I laid on top of it. So there's some probably 419 under it that's making its way through and everything like that, and some common in some other areas. So keeping it short. And then what I did recently is I kind of let the Tifway come up a little bit more and hit it with like a weed wiper with some glyphosate to kill that, because I'm really not big into different textures and not big into different, colors and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But and I got another spot that I'm going to kill off and I want to plug it. But so what I've noticed is this: what's the best way to get it to spread well? Because if I pound the nitrogen on it, it's gonna, it gets thick and dense. I mean, just the canopy of the grass gets real thick versus your other Bermudas that spread horizontally a little bit more.
What's your height of cut?
Yeah, height of cut.
Probably a little bit above a half an inch, maybe.
Ben, I'm going to tell you that, for Tifgrand, your ideal height of cut, if you want to keep it as a monostand Tifgrand and discourage common Bermuda and Tifway 419, I find that my ideal height of cut on Tifgrand is like 5/16 to a quarter of an inch.
Okay.
Because half an inch and higher basically
Common's still going to do it at half an inch.
Yeah. Common is going to thrive as well as all that riffraff 419 at a half an inch. 3/8. Yeah, 3/8 is another height where 419 also thrives. You got to get it under 3/8 in order to discourage the 419. And one more thing,
7/16 common starts to get real pukey on you. Like it does.
Yeah,
it does
it
not
can't,
like it.
can't
It's
hang
just below half an inch, and it doesn't
can't
like
hang.
it. So
yeah,
you
can't
dip it
hang.
down below that. Yep.
Yeah, and then the other thing I'm going to tell you is go very lean on the nitrogen, because the other thing about common and 419 is that those Bermudas are extremely nitrogen hungry. However, Tifgrand survives on very low rates of nitrogen. So if you start dropping out the nitrogen, the other grasses cannot deal.
I like it. That's easy enough.
Yeah. Yeah, just mow lower and stop feeding.
For lateral growth too, you can put it on a regulation. Do you play around with trim pack or anything?
Yeah, T-Nex.
So I got T-Nex, but putting it under regulation, I mean, I noticed when I did that last summer, it just shut down. I felt like.
Okay,
cut your rates back. Cut your rates.
Yeah, I gotta tell you that for Tifgrand, no more than 4 to 6 ounces per acre, because my experience with Tifgrand is that Tifgrand acts more like the ultra dwarf green varieties of Bermuda.
Right.
So we're saying 0.1 per thousand. 0.1 ounces per thousand.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing about... Yeah, get a syringe to measure your at, because...
Yeah, we're talking 3 milliliters.
At that 3 milliliters, I mean, even... I'd go down to 2.5 milliliter per thousand on the Tifgrand and start there, because I find that 4 ounces per acre about is the amount that has very positive effects on green variety Bermudas. More than that, you're on thin ice. It gets to be too much. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, because the problem is that if you over-rig the Tifgrand, then the 419 and the common is going to take over.
Now, I think you bring up a good point. If you ever run into a situation where you do not like the amount of suppression you're getting out of your growth regulator, just start cutting rates. Cut rates.
Yeah. Or your rate.
That's the beautiful thing about it is that you can always back down your rate, but once it's already under regulation, you just gotta ride the lightning until it's out, right?
Right.
Always start small and then work your way up. And I didn't even know you had to go that low on Tiff brand. So, we're 2.5 milliliters. Start there. See what you like. I'd say that's going to give you enough of what you're looking for, especially on the lateral side of things, to be like, okay.
Yeah, I'd start at 2.5, and I'd even go as low as 1 milliliter per thousand to induce regulation. Start there and then work my way up a milliliter at a time, because again, I've dealt with Tifgrand, and what I notice is that it is extremely responsive to Trinexapac, especially if your nitrogen rates are appropriate and not over. So if you're keeping your Tifgrand at minimal nitrogen rates, it's very easy to over-reg. Just something to keep in mind.
All right, brother. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do.
No problem there. We'll be good.
Well, next time I see it, we'll just make sure we go to jail together. How about them apples?
That'll be even better. Even better. We got an attorney on retainer, so we'll be good.
Actually, we got a couple of attorneys on retainer.
I know we are loaded on attorneys. We're going to be golden.
All right, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ben. Have a good night, buddy.
Take care.
All right. I think that's everything that came in. I hope y'all enjoyed this as much as we did. It's fun to get on here and just cut up with everybody for a little bit. Oh, by the way, Ray, what is your favorite grass type? What's your favorite turf type?
Tifgrand.
Yeah, I was going to say Tifgrand. Yeah.
Yeah, by far. That's my first love. Everything else can piss off.
Ray does not have the same appreciation for Meyer Z52 that I does, and that's okay. It's okay. Everybody's got their own that they get into. All right, we're going to get out of here. DeMay is going to give it his damnedest for this Thursday. What are we doing this Thursday, J Pink? What's on the agenda?
I think it's going to end up being hopefully Senior Lawn. He was supposed to be on a couple weeks ago, and we had to shuffle stuff around, so I'm hoping to get him on.
Sweet. We'll get Senior Lawn on. We're going to have a good time, and y'all have an absolute jam-out, bang-out week, and, do the damn thing. And we'll catch y'all over on the Discord. Love you guys. Bye!
Bye.